right on the edge of this massive evolutionary leap from AI as a passive assistant to AI as an autonomous teammate. So let's break down what that actually means.
Okay, so here's the entire shift in a nutshell. Over on the left, that's the AI we're all used to, right? It's passive, it responds to our prompts, but on the right, that's the future. This is an active agent that doesn't just answer your questions, it takes action to achieve a goal. It's the difference between a tool that you have to constantly micromanage and a teammate that can actually figure things out on its own. So how do these things actually work? I mean, it sounds incredibly complex, but really, under the hood, no matter how sophisticated they seem, they're all built from three core components. And honestly, the best way to get it is to just think of them like a person.
So first up, you've got the model. This is the brain of the whole operation. It's usually a large language model, or LLM, and it's the central reasoning engine. This is the part that does all the thinking, the planning, and makes all the decisions about what to do next. But, a brain on its own is pretty useless if it can't interact with the world. And that's where tools come in. These are the agent's hands. Think of these as things like APIs, which are just ways for different computer programs to talk to each other, or giving it access to databases and code. This is what connects the agent's thinking to the real world, letting it actually do things like search for info or, send an email. And finally, you have orchestration. This is the nervous system. It's what connects the brain to the hands. It's this governing process that manages the whole show, that operational loop. It tells the brain when it's time to think and the hands when it's time to act. It is the absolute critical layer that brings all the pieces together into one functioning system. Okay, so we've got the brain, the hands, and the nervous system. Now let's see how they all work together. Because every single agent, from the most basic to the crazy advanced, follows one fundamental cycle to get stuff done. And that process, it's this simple but incredibly powerful loop. Think, act, observe. First, the agent thinks. It looks at the goal, it looks at its surroundings, and it comes up with a plan. Then it acts. It uses one of its tools to take the first step in that plan. And finally, it observes. It looks at the result of its action, updates what it knows, and then it does it all over again until the job is done.
Let's make this real. A customer asks, "Where's my order?" Okay, so first, the agent thinks. It plans out its steps. Then it acts, calling a tool to check the order database. It observes that it found the tracking number. So it acts again, this time checking the shipping status with that number. It observes the delivery info. And finally, it acts a third time to give the user the final answer. See? That simple loop just solved a real-world, multi-step problem.
But of course, not all agents are created equal. They exist on this whole spectrum of capability, with each level kind of building logically on top of the last one.
It really builds in these clear stages. At level 0, you've got the thinker. This is just the brain. It can reason, but it's all thought and no action. Then at level 1, we give it tools, and suddenly we have a doer that can actually look stuff up. Level 2 gives us the strategist, which can handle those complex multi-step plans we were talking about. And then finally, at level 3, we get the team, a whole system of specialized agents that delegate tasks to each other, just like a real project team.
This quote just nails it. The future isn't about building one single all-powerful super agent. It's about creating a team of specialists that can all work together. This collaborative model is what's going to let us automate these incredibly complex business workflows from start to finish.
Now, this all sounds pretty revolutionary, right? But there is a huge gap between a cool demo and a reliable, secure agent you can actually trust in a real business. And that is the production challenge. And here is the core problem that developers are wrestling with. An agent's greatest strength is its flexibility, its ability to reason and adapt on the fly. But that's also what makes it so unpredictable. So the big question is, how do you govern something that is literally unpredictable by its very design? Well, the answer is this new discipline that's emerging called Agent Ops. It kind of builds on ideas from DevOps and MLOps, which are just fancy terms for structured ways to build and manage software and machine learning, but it's specifically tailored for the unique unpredictability of these AI agents. And this new way of doing things requires totally new practices. For instance, with traditional software, a test is usually just pass or fail, but an agent might find a creative solution that's still correct. So instead of a simple test, we can use another powerful AI to act as a judge and evaluate the quality of the response. And when something does go wrong, traces let us see the agent's entire thought process so we can understand why it made a certain decision. It's all about building guardrails for a system that can think for itself.
So, after all this, the anatomy, the process, the challenges, what does it all mean? What's the big picture here as we start moving into this totally new era of AI?
I absolutely love this analogy. For decades, developers have been like bricklayers, right? They precisely code every single logical step of a process. But with agents, the developer's role is shifting. It's becoming more like a director. You don't write the script for every single action, you set the scene, you choose your cast of tools, and you guide the autonomous actor to deliver the right performance.
And it is so crucial to understand that this is way more than just a better way to automate a workflow.
They're becoming capable, adaptable, and fundamentally new members of our teams. That is the true destination of this technology.
So I'm going to leave you with one final thought. As this technology becomes a real part of our daily work, we're all going to need an answer to this question. What goal would you give your first AI team?